Hi, Brad here with Twist Brewery. Today I want to talk about how to fill cans properly off of the tap so that you're minimizing your DO levels. That is one of the biggest problems that you have when it comes to trying to fill cans and growlers off the tap is excessive DO levels, which is going to degrade the beer and cause it to go bad faster. So I've realized some things. We've analyzed our canning machine and all the procedures that are done on there to minimize your DO levels, and we've implemented that on our tap system. So the first thing I want to talk about is the taps themselves. So we went with these Perlick valves with the flow control faucets. So if you have normal faucets, it's just an open or close. If you try to like crack it halfway so you feel slower, it's almost like taking your thumb and putting it over a garden hose. You're going to increase the pressure, spray it in there, it's going to cause it worse. So you're forced to go full open when you're filling the cans. It fills them too fast, excessive foaming, things like that. So with these, it has a flow control valve that actually reduces the pressure. And not just, like putting your thumb over the garden hose effect. So that works really nice with these. The other awesome thing is it comes with these fill tubes. This is the one that we use for our cans. And of course we spray everything down with Star Sand before we start. And it actually fits, it's got a little washer on there. Fits up in there perfectly. And now we can actually fill the can from the bottom up, which is another thing that's done on a canning line. So if you're just splashing the beer in there, it's just going to oxidate. But if you're filling it from the bottom up, you're actually filling it under the liquid, so you're going to minimize DO levels that way as well. The other thing that we've done is we actually installed this CO2 Purge Faucet up here. And this is something we've done right from the beginning when we were thinking about the growlers mainly. And it's a great little system. I mean, that's on every single canning line out there. You have a can pre-purge or a bottle pre-purge. So the idea is you're going to basically remove the oxygen out of the can. So this straw will go all the way down to the bottom of the can, and it's going to layer the CO2 and purge the oxygen out of the can. So now, if there is some splashing or irritation in there, it's going under the CO2 blanket, not the oxygen blanket. So to get started, what I always do is I like to take my Star Sand and actually squirt the cans and the lids, have everything laid out. I like to sanitize everything actually. I'll hit my CO2 Purge, our rinse unit, the straw, everything. Just because you never know. The cans are sitting around, the lids are sitting around, so we don't want any bacteria or anything to possibly make their way into the can. So the other thing I do is I like to do a little pre-rinse. Probably not necessary since you're kind of Star Sanding them. You could probably just kind of shake out the Star Sand if you want, but I'm thinking if a little dust gets in there or something, it's kind of nice just to rinse that out. And we'll load a few over here on the platform. So now I'm going to start the actual fill process. So I'm going to start with pre-purging the can. This I like to always just kind of open up, let a little bit trickle out first, and then start on the first can at least, making sure that you got your fill correct, the volume that you want. And the first can will usually foam a little bit more than the other cans that you do behind it, just because it takes a minute for the tap to kind of cool down. You got warm taps and then you got cold beer coming into it. You might get a little foaming on your first can, but once you get going into multiple cans, that'll subside a little bit. So we're here filling from the bottom up. You can actually feel the level in the can with your fingers when you're holding it, because it's getting colder. And it is a slower process for sure. Once you kind of get dialed in, if you're doing a lot of cans, you can get this where you can run them a little bit faster as well, once everything's chilled down to temperature. But for here, being the first can, we're going to take it a little bit slow. Now, while that's filling, you always want to have a lid in your hand ready to go. So when we're going to apply the lid, the idea is you want to shave off the foam from side to side. You don't want to like push down and push an air pocket into it. And I'll make sure that the liquid is actually at the top, and we actually overflow this a little bit. We'll make sure that it's filled clear to the tippity top, and just like that. And as we pull it down, I'm going to shave that foam just like that. Now we're going to take the can over to the machine, spin it, and when you take this, you got to go real slow just till it touches, and then ease it in. And then you're going to do that same thing with the left, just till it touches, then ease it in, making sure you're going all the way to the full stop position. And I've seen a lot of my servers, I've had to like recorrect them. They just want to get this done. They're over here and they're just bam, bam, like real quick. Actually, sometimes you hit this really hard, it'll actually stop the can right in the middle of the spin because it's just jamming it real quick. and it doesn't give you a good crimp or a good seam. So this is the way you're going to get a really nice perfect seam, but you've got to kind of make sure that you're doing it properly. You know, make sure you get nice and easy on it and you get the full stop at the end on both sides. Now once you get rolling, it is actually look like it goes pretty quick because you get that technique down, but in the beginning you want to make sure that that's really done correctly. So I wanted to take a moment out to talk about growler fills. I know we've been talking about canning this whole time, but growlers are equally as important, and we probably fill more of these than we do actually the cans on the tap. So you would use this same procedure that we use for the cans. The difference is I use this 1/2-inch hose, and it fits perfectly right over top of these perlet faucets. I didn't try it with the regular faucets. I'm guessing it probably would work as well, and it makes a nice tight seal, and it's long enough to reach the bottom of the growler. So the beauty of this is you're filling from the bottom up like we talked about before, and also once the liquid covers that, the foaming stops. You know, so you actually don't sit here and waste a ton of product with your growler overfilling trying to purge that foam out. I mean, granted, you are still going to get some foaming, but it's minimized, so you don't have quite as much loss. And we also made the straw here on our CO2 Purge nice and long so we can stick it up here and actually purge it properly from the bottom up to remove the oxygen before we start. So that's a good tip on how you can fill your growlers, give your customers better quality beer that they deserve, and it'll actually last a lot longer too. So until they crack that, it should last a long time. We've had customers say that they kept a growler in the fridge for 2 months before they cracked it, and it was just fine. So I think this procedure works. I'm pretty happy about it, and I hope this helps you guys out.